All right, it's a little past 7, so we'll start with our meeting this evening. I want to thank our visitors and guests and appreciate those who are able to make it tonight. And those who are also live streaming as a part of our meeting. We welcome you to our gathering this evening and hope you get a lot out of it. At this time, we want to ask Josh, our police chief, to lead us in the invocation.
Dear Lord God in heaven, thank you for letting us be here today. Help us to have wisdom as we do the business of the public. Be with all those in the world that are suffering and have needs and are hopeless, and give them hope. And help us to always join together as a community for the better for each other. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. If we would stand and have pledge of allegiance to our flag, please. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like to ask the council if there are any amendments to this evening's agenda. Staff, any amendments?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, on item number, Roman numeral 5, item number 13, request by South Iredell High School for a road closure. Their staff sent an email to us requesting this. However, they are unable to appear here before you all tonight. Per town policy, such requests for streets closures has to be made at least 30 days in advance. They have met that. However, all we as staff can do is repeat the email that they've sent requesting it. If you all would like to proceed, that's your choice. If you think you all would like to have questions about that, then it makes sense we postpone it to August. The issue there is it will not then be within the 30-day window. I think they would have met the spirit, the intended use of our ordinance, and that they've requested prior. They just got messed up on the dates as far as appearing themselves. So whichever way, we'll be glad to repeat the email requesting it and why, if you all would like to hear it. If not, we need to have that postponed to August, whichever you decide.
Let me ask you, have they, to you and or our police chief, have they any plans of road to be closed, times, any of the details?
Yes, sir. Let me turn it over.
Okay.
Same time, exact same route as last year.
Okay. Is that satisfactory to the town manager and the police chief?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is that satisfactory to our Parks and Rec director?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any comments from the council?
I think we just go with what they got, because it's the same thing they've done last year.
It's for the Tuesday following Labor Day.
Keep it on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just go ahead and keep it on the agenda and vote for it then.
Thank you, sir. That's the only alteration that we may have had. Everything else is as written.
All right, sir. Okay. Well, so then we'll leave it on there and then pass on it when the time comes up. All right. At this point in time then, do I have a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented this evening?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, first and second, any comments? All right, votes, those in the affirmative, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It has been passed unanimously. Our agenda is adopted this evening. Our next order of business is our consent agenda. We have 9 items on there. I will not go through all 9 items. They are listed. We discussed them at some length at our Monday evening or Monday afternoon agenda briefing, and there seemed to be no controversy or questions or concerns of any magnitude after discussion, and they're listed for those who have a copy of our agenda items listing for this meeting, this regular meeting this evening. So based on that, I will ask for a motion on our consent agenda, whether to adopt it or not.
I will make that motion, sir.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have first and a second. Any discussion? All right, we'll have a vote. All those in favor of adopting the consent agenda as presented this evening, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, is again adopted unanimously, consent agenda as presented. Right, third category for this evening is our recognition. And at this time, I will turn the meeting over to our town manager, Ron White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. As we started back in January of this year, it was the intent of us as department directors and my office as manager that we recognize employees that don't just do their job, but they go above and beyond what the normal is. This month, I would like to let you all know and all the viewing public know that Emily Watson was chosen as our employee of the month for June. Emily, of course, is our Parks and Rec director. Up until recently, it had been a one full-time person department, and since then, we have added some additional personnel, but that still does not change the fact, just in the month of June, we had 4 major events that 2 full-time staff members handled along with the part-timers and then the community volunteers. Each event that we hold, as you all have heard me somewhat jokingly, but in seriousness say before, Emily keeps what I refer to as a recipe book, and after each event, she is quick to go home and start evaluating the successes and the things that could be done with that event to make it even better next time. That's why I go with our Independence Day parade that was done July 1st is a perfect example. While on the public side, it may appear just tell people to get in line and come down and wave at everybody. That is actually a year-long process, and there is a lot of thought that goes into place, such as some of the vendors that are on the route selling various things, whether it be ice cream or food or novelties. They are placed in those areas to help block off the streets. Unlike a lot of our neighboring areas, we as a town staff put on that event for our citizens and all the visitors that wish to come here. And that's just one of the events that helps showcase us on a regular basis of what the town of Troutman is about and our small town community feel. Emily takes great pride in rallying all of us to assistance in our various roles to make sure that those go well. And that is just one example of many events that was done. Because of COVID, we had to postpone some of these events, but I will use Party in the Park as an example also. This year, the first one we had this year was very well attended. The amenities was liked by many. The only issue we came up with that was some of the vendors run out of food. And of course, Emily is this type person that took that as a personal, we must do better the next time, because when people come to our events, she wants to know that they got exposed to what Troutman is about and the professionalism of our staff and what we have to offer here. I will add, Chief Watson and I were in trouble when we come up in recognition of this. Emily is not the person that ever wants to be in front of her employees or in front of any project as being recognized for the service that she does. Many years the department has lacked in funding and lacked in resources, and as we accrue those, I am amazed at how many activities that we actually perform, whether it be youth camps, whether it be the athletic fields being redone, whether it be getting the fields up and running as compared to the budgets of a lot of other municipalities. I am proud to recognize Emily Watson as our Employee of the Month. Please come up and see council.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, great job.
Well deserved.
Oh, no, this is about her, not me. Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, our next recognition is the notice of an employee who has retired, even though he's not here, so that we can have it for our public record. According to staff, he's supposed to, well, there he is. Randy, we're recognizing you in a public meeting on YouTube. What you doing? All right. You can watch it on YouTube, buddy. I gotta get back to the meeting. All right, Randy, I'll talk to you soon.
I look forward to the transcript.
No worries.
Yeah.
I apologize for the ironic timing. Randy, as has been noted as a town employee, somebody had asked for assistance, and what should have been a 2-hour ordeal wound up being much longer, and he is out of county now trying to get back, and he apologizes that he is not here in person, and he would like to thank council for recognizing him. But if it's all right with you, I would like to read the resolution.
Please do.
Resolution 1823, recognizing the distinguished service and retirement of Randy Austin Gallagher. Whereas Randy Austin Gallagher began his work for the town of Troutman in the Public Works Department on May 15, 2000. And whereas Randy Austin Gallagher served the town by working in the maintenance of the town's water system and many other areas of work that he was called on to do. And whereas during that time that Randy Austin Gallagher worked for the town of Troutman, he has honorably served the town by reporting to work on a reliable basis, working long hours, and responding selflessly to all emergencies that took place within the town's water and sewer systems. And whereas during his term of service, he was known for his impressive skill set and abilities to get the job done, helping benefit his co-workers and the public, contributing his knowledge of the system and hard work to the citizens of the town of Troutman. Now therefore be it resolved by the town council of the town of Troutman that the town of Troutman acknowledges and appreciates with pride the selfless service, dedication, and work that Randy Austin Gallagher has provided to the town of Troutman and its citizens for the past 23 years. And if you all would allow, I would like his department director to also have a word. You can, yeah, either way.
All right. Randy, I guess you'll hear this on cyberspace. Randy, congratulations on your retirement. Everyone on the Public Works team will miss you. We're excited about your new journey. It has been a pleasure working alongside you. Thanks to your years of knowledge and experience within the water systems industry, I always knew I could count on you. We will be lucky to find someone to fill the void left by so many years in the industry. In your 23 years here, you have positively impacted the Public Works Department and the entire town of Troutman. So Randy here is wishing you the best in your retirement and future endeavors. I hope you can enjoy plenty of time hunting, fishing, playing pool, and enjoying your family. Job well done, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Behind that screen over there is a very nice rocking chair, and we also put the plaque on it honoring him and his years of service. Being he's not here to get it, we won't let the public see what his chair looks like, so it'll stay on his front porch. But we appreciate Troutman Chair and helping us provide this retirement gift to Randy.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thanks to Troutman Chair as well.
Thanks to Randy for his good service for 23 years.
That's once again, I'm reminded of, I'm not a young guy anymore. I remember when he was hired, and now I'm here when he's leaving us. So once again, I feel young, yeah. But Randy, appreciate him, his years of service, very personal individual, got to know him. I think Todd came a little before Randy did, but they were kind of close to each other, and for that reason, I guess I just kind of remember them as carried me back to the older days and so forth, and when the town was a little bit smaller, a little less formal, and now we're growing and not quite as informal as we were. But please let Randy know that we appreciate his service and his loyalty to the town. We're going to miss him, and anytime he comes back, don't hesitate to say hello to any of us and let us know he's coming so we can meet him for a cup of coffee, perhaps.
Certainly will, and I will also just state for public record, that position required to have a certain set of certifications and skill sets. Even though he has retired, we're still using Randy's services going forward. According to state law, we have to give him a month break, but after that, he will still be on a couple water certifications and things that we need. So he may still be seen around town for at least 6 months, if not a year. We may do longer depending on what his wife's duties are in retirement.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Give us another 6 months to a year to say hello to him, and he say hello to us. Thank you, sir. All right, is that it, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'll move on then to the next item. See, item number 4, standing quarter report for our ABC store, and I am tickled to death to say Chairman of the ABC Board, Leighton Gessinger, will be presenting the report to us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody that greeted me when they came in. That means the world, and I can't tell you how glad I am to be back in front of you. Anyway, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Hinkle. I'm sorry that it looks like people that heard that I was coming decided they would take some vacation time. But that's okay. I don't take it personal. I cry easily. I can cry reading the yellow pages, but anyway. On behalf of the ABC Board, Wes Edmonston, Kim Cavins, and General Manager Evelyn Walls, I'm here today tonight to give you the end of the fourth quarter and the end of the fiscal year numbers, and also to let you know that our annual audit will start on the 26th of July and should be done by the end of July. And it'll probably be the end of August, so the results will be sent to you, but at the quarterly brief in September, I'll give you the results of all that. So starting with the fourth quarter, April was just slightly ahead of April of last year with a 1% increase, and then May we had an 8% increase, and then June, unexplainable by us, it was 22% over last June. So, it's not that 4th of July should have influenced it any more this year than it did last year, but apparently just the way that maybe that shook out. But those couple of days would not create a month that, we were just, I think, $4,000 short of $300,000 for the month. And for the fourth quarter, we had $824,631 in sales. That was $77,909 ahead of last year's fourth quarter. Distributions for the fourth quarter, which I've just given to Mr. Wyatt, and I'm not quite sure why he wanted me to make the checks out to Ron Wyatt. I think he said that that way he would be feeling more comfortable that everybody got what they were supposed to. So anyway, and Justin, I just wanted to make sure you knew that. He's got the checks. Right here. Oh, okay. Well, then forgive me, Doug. So, the distributions for the fourth quarter for the town and its entities is $23,262. Law enforcement is just $7 short of $4,000, $3,993, and then alcohol and drug and education is $5,590. Net profit for the fourth quarter was $71,131 versus $58,106 last year, which was a 22% increase over last year. The 12-month recap, we budgeted $2,800,000 as our revenue, net revenue for the year. And going through the year, we had first quarter we did 27% of budget. Second quarter, which includes November or Thanksgiving and Christmas, we did 33% of budget. And then third quarter, we were right on target with 25% of budget. And then this last quarter, with this ending just now, was 29% of budget. So for the year, we had net sales of $3.2,707,666, which is $407,666 above budget, or 15% above budgeted revenue. And that equates to, on average, of $10,347 per selling day, and there's 310 selling days in this past year. That it varies from year to year, when it's leap year in there, and holidays may fall on a Sunday or whatever. So sometimes it will, like a Christmas or New Year's, those two selling days that will have more than in that year. But the distributions for this fiscal year, the town and its entities receiving $90,830. Alcohol education is $20,537, and law enforcement $14,669, for a total of $126,036. Our budgeted profit after distributions was $88,032, but we had also added in our budget $25,000 for administrative expenses, thinking that we would be going ahead and spending money towards the second store. So that counted against that net profit. So if you add that back in, it's about $113,000 that would have been budgeted revenue or profit after distributions. It turns out net profit after distributions was $260,517, which was $172,485 over budget. Now, that's not that we were poor budgeteers, we were just conservative, and the customers are the ones to blame for the fact that we came up so much over budget. So anyway, and we're thankful for them, so I don't want them to, if anybody's tuned in, don't want them to think that we're talking poorly about it. Our profits for the year were 8% of net sales, and that is pretty much on par for what we would be looking to do for a store our size. And what makes the big difference is it takes about $1 million a year to cover what is known as the nut, to be able to break even for operational expenses. And so everything over $1 million that you do, the net profit increases, considerably, because your expenses have been covered under that first million. So as we continue to grow the revenue, hopefully you will see continued growth in net profit. Our retained working capital, the maximum allowed this year was $589,368, and we had hit that number probably mid-year. And the town had approved for us back in July, I think, of 2020, to retain additional funds up to $500,000 towards special capital project, which is the second store. And the board met last night, and I need to take a sip of water. I don't have saliva glands here. And this is vodka, actually. Sorry about that. So the board decided, we had the discussions at the last meeting, but last night, after doing some research, our note was maturing on July 28th, so this month. And we had to either refinance it or pay it off. And looking at the our current note was 3.47%, and we get 3% on our interest on our savings account. But the new note was going to be somewhere between 6.71 and 6.95%. They wouldn't know that final number until closer to the July 28th date. So the board's thoughts were we had $617,000 in savings, was to go ahead and pay off this store, which we did this morning, and for in the amount of $457,414. So we felt like that things slowing down in the economy, and we're still having a few administrative hurdles that we're trying to get through for the property for the second store, is that we've got time to rebuild the war chest, and we not probably have enough money to be able to pay cash for a new store, but at least we won't have debt on 2 stores at the same time, and it's a lot easier if you're going into a second store debt-free. So that being said, we felt comfortable that was the right decision. That does impact what our maximum, well, not a maximum, but what our working capital retention is. It dropped down to $297,000 and change, but that is really nothing more than just an administrative calculations. I mean, it doesn't impact anything that we do. That's all just money that, because it's inventory and all cash reserves that we're required to maintain in the store, and then whatever we have in the bank, whether it be savings or checking. So while they say that's liquid cash, it's, pun intended, but it's the alcohol on the shelves and in the warehouse are considered liquid assets in terms of its ability to be converted to cash in a short period of time. But it's not something we can lay our hands on if we needed to go to, do anything with it to affect the second store or whatever. So it makes the numbers for capital retention look different, fluffier than what it really is in terms of cash that we can lay our hands on. And if I've confused you, I will be glad to send you a memo to better explain myself. Also, the second note, if we refinanced, it was only going to be for a 10-year term, and it would have also been amortized. Let's see, it would be a 5-year note amortized over 10 years. The first note was 7-year note amortized over 20 years. So we had a very favorable payment every month, and we, for the last few years, we're putting an additional $1,000 towards the principal in there. So, all that being said, I also would just like to tell you that since the store opened in December 2016, I like to keep these numbers just because I think it's fascinating. But we've done net sales, that's less sales tax, $14,640,706 in net sales. And distributions since December of 2016, which is 6 years and 7 months, we've, Town of Troutman received $332,051, alcohol education and rehab $74,768, and law enforcement $53,406. And we've also had a net profit after distributions of $1,038,940. With that amount of money, we have added an additional 2,000 square feet to the existing building that we paid $205,000 in cash for. We purchased an additional land of 7.9 acres for $279,000, and we paid off the first store note for $457,414, which is a total of $941,414. So we feel like that as we've gone through this period of supposed non-profitability, we've been blessed that things went a different route, and we've been able to have the success that we had, and we look forward to getting the second store at some point in the not-so-distant future, at least the plans and everything drawn up, because there's still a lead lag time of about 4 to 5 months with all the administrative hoops that we have to jump through with the ABC Commission before we can actually do anything locally, in which we would have to get the land. We still got to go through annexation and rezoning of that land once we get it transferred. So I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Well, congratulations on paying off the mortgage, and it's great seeing you here in person.
Well, thank you, Eddie.
Fabulous, you look great. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I heard the same things.
Yeah.
Good to see you again, Lee.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, and it's great to see all of you, I tell you. As they say, it's better to be seen than viewed.
You know, every time you come, you've got nothing but good news, and same thing with Evelyn, even though the few times she's been here, but you always bring positive news, and I like positive news.
Yeah, well,
Especially when
she's-
it has to do with money.
Well, I will tell you, and as I always like to be mindful of, is that she is the reason why things have gone as well as they have. I mean, she is the show. She is the one that has all the plates spinning and the balls juggling, and it takes a lot that's behind the scenes, and she's got that calm, cool demeanor that allows for her to stay on task, and also the employees love her and she loves them, and that means an awful lot too. We have low turnover, and these are part-time employees, but they want to be there, and so it means a lot. So thank you. We, on the behalf of all the board and everyone, appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the town's success.
And in return, thank you and the board, and also for our staff and store manager.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. All righty, our next order of business is going to be consider the request by South Errol High School road closure for the homecoming parade. And I think we've already heard some comments concerning that, and if there are none extra or any more coming from staff, then I'll ask if there's any comments from the council concerning this matter.
So where's the actual road closed off of 21 when they come across it, or? I'm trying to remember what they did last year.
Come out of Scrubs, come up out of the park, turn left on the north, come straight up, and then come down Eastway.
Okay.
And we did make some adjustments last year to the time frame so that it didn't impact school let now, after school let now, and 5 o'clock traffic so badly. Also, the shift change at ESC or Keystone. So we did make some changes, start a little bit later at the direction of the police department. So, and it went well last year. I
Yeah.
think the best that it has gone wasn't as congested, and traffic did flow. People were able to pick up at after school, prime time and those kind of things. People were able to get their kids, and then the parade started after that.
What is that time again
Start
start?
at 6:30 rather than right at, I think in years past, we started at 5:30.
Right.
We started at 6, and so we pushed back to 6:30. So we get past the shift change over here at the factory, and then past the pickup time at the after school location. So, yeah, we're just closing Eastway, and then the spectators set up along Eastway.
And I believe it ends at the Baptist Church, Troutman Baptist Church, is that where it ends?
They come this way, and
Oh.
then they wrap up at Cat's.
Yeah, excuse me, okay, I'm going the wrong distance, okay, all right. Any other questions, comments?
Seems a little early this year, doesn't it? Homecoming,
Do what?
isn't the homecoming a little bit early?
This is when they did it last year, in years past.
About the same-
Right after Labor Day.
Okay.
Many years ago, they were in October, but
Yeah.
they started doing it in September. I want to say 4 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? In that case, I will call for anything else from staff before I ask for. Do I have a motion on permitting this event to occur and staff to handle it according to plan?
I'd like to make a motion that the request by South Ardell High School for road closure for homecoming parade be approved.
We have a first, I have a second to that motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have first and second. Any comments before I call for the vote? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Consider it done. All right, our next order of business, under new business, is item 14, annexation. And then following that, just for the information of the public as council, that after that, if the annexation passes, then we'll presume have a discussion and hearing on rezoning. But first we'll tackle the annexation question, and we'll turn it over to our planning director, Lynn Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. This is a annexation request, as you stated. The applicant is Piedmont Land Co. LLC. There's actually...
Might want to open the public hearing.
Okay, you want to open it before, okay. Yes, sir. All right, I declare the public hearing open, and we'll ask our planning director, Lynn Hare, to be our first speaker.
Yes, I stated this is the applicant's Piedmont Land Co. LLC. There's actually 21 properties involved with this request. They're all located on the north side of Highway 21, just south of the 42 exit. The property is approximately a little over 40 and a half acres. This is a non-contiguous annexation. The property is currently in the county. It's zoned RA. There is a rezoning request with this application that we will hear after the annexation is approved. Just to let you know, the parcels you can see on the screen are highlighted in red. They all lie between the Lowe's Home Improvement site and then the site where the new Food Lion will be. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Council, any questions? Permissible to ask the audience to ask a question? Audience, anybody in the audience have a question for our planning director? All right, hearing none then, I guess we'll get into the phase of where I ask for anyone who has signed up to speak to this issue in our public hearing. Mr. Bryan, would you like to speak to it, sir? Okay. All right. Hearing none then, I will close the public hearing, and we'll go into discussion among council. Anyone want to comment or discuss this matter of annexation of the Piedmont Land Co. project, or property rather?
I think this is kind of fitting the areas we're looking for out there by exit 42 to expand our businesses, retail and stuff out there, so it's good.
Yeah, so I do know that it is non-contiguous to the town, but just so I'm interpreting my maps correctly, right? This is, I know it's different parcels, but there's no holes in here. There's no cutouts from what I'm.
Yeah, this is in the town, and we annexed all of these parcels for the Food Lion project. So this is just filling the gap between the two areas that are in the town limits. But it's considered non-contiguous by state statute because it's not contiguous to the main town. This is a satellite area.
Anything, sir, to comment?
I think it's good. It's just kind of cleaning up the area that we got down there, putting all the pieces together. So hopefully we do this and we'll start seeing some progress down there.
Keep our fingers crossed. Well, I agree with my colleagues, and I think it goes along with what we envisioned and have envisioned down there. And I look forward, reading the application and what's anticipated to go in there as far as food service, medical service, perhaps a few general products, retail outlets, that sort of thing, small businesses of sort, even though there may be some chain businesses that be providing services and products so that hopefully we'll get to the point where people can stay in Troutman, do their shopping without having to travel down or up the road to Statesville or Mooresville or further. So with that, if I hear no more comments, once again I'll ask staff if they have any further comments before I call for a motion.
No, sir.
Okay, well, I'm going to close have I closed the public?
No, not yet.
Excuse me, I apologize for my memory here. All right, hearing no more comments, I will close the public hearing. And no further comments from our council. I will ask for a motion concerning this matter.
I'll make a motion, we Approve ordinance 1923 titled an ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Troutman, North Carolina, non-contiguous.
First on that, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I've had a first and second on the motion. Any comments before I ask for the vote? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of this annexation request, AX 23-04 non-contiguous, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, hearing none, it's passed unanimously. The property in this matter is now annexed to part of the town, and we'll move on to item 15, which is the rezoning of this property. And once again, I will call for a public hearing to open on this matter, and we will start with asking our planning director, Lynn Hare, to speak to this matter.
Yeah, thank you. Again, the applicant, this is the rezoning portion of the annexation that was just approved. The applicant, again, is Piedmont Land Co. The owners, there's multiple owners involved with this request, but Piedmont Land Co. is representing all of them. This property is in the county. It's zoned RA. A couple of the parcels are zoned highway business with conditional use attached to that. They're requesting that this property be rezoned to the town of Troutman HB. This is a traditional rezoning, so there's no site plan or concept plan required as part of this request. And again, the property size is 40.43 acres. Just to give you an idea again of the location, the parcels are highlighted in red on the screen for you. This is a copy of our current zoning map. Just to show you what the properties are zoned. You can see a couple with that HB zoning, but the majority are zoned RA. This is our future land use map, which shows the parcels as highway business or interchanged commercial, which fits with what the other uses in that area are. This is a by right zoning, so all uses and development standards established by the UDO will have to be met as part of this request for whatever is developed here. Again, there's no concept plan attached, and an annexation application for the property has been submitted and approved. I'm sorry. That is correct, and we have to rezone this as part of the annexation request. The planning board did hear this, as they have to hear all rezoning requests. They did approve this unanimously. Staff is also recommending approval, subject to the following: that the site is in close proximity to exit 42. It lends itself to highway business uses and zoning. There's recent rezonings of nearby property to both LI and HB that support the requested change. This is the staff's recommendation. With any rezoning, it's a state statute that we approve a statement of consistency. I provided you all an example of that just for your use. If you have any questions, that's the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Council, any questions, comments, Ms. Hare, or for in general? All right, hearing none, I'll move on to our public during this public hearing, and I will start with representative from Piedmont Land Co. and ask if you would like to say anything in this matter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, and members of the town board. I don't have a speech prepared. Lynn did an excellent job. We've discussed this with Lynn and her department several times. This really does not change anything much on this property. It's already zoned for the most part highway business by Iredell County. Iredell County, as you know, does not have any water or sewer capacity. Troutman does. A lot of money's been spent over the years. Most people can remember the years ago when we worked hard to get a million-gallon water tank down at exit 42, and we had dreams of what could be down there and what could use those utilities and make that investment pay off. So we're to this point. We've been working in this area to assemble this property now for more than 20 years, and we believe the time is right to put it together, to put it in the town and work with the town. You have a great staff and a great town board and a great manager and citizens, and we want to try to work together to offer additional services for the town and this area. I'll be glad to answer any questions. We do not have a specific plan for this property. We are working on some modified ideas to put together, and so we think it may move along pretty well. So we'll be back to talk with you soon. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Questions for Mr. Brown?
I have just one. I'm not sure if it's best asked to the town planner or to you yourself. Thanks for coming. I'm just looking at the maps here, right? And it seems like you got a lot of owners together, right, to get going on this.
There are
together.
actually 6 owners.
Right.
There are 6 owners
Yeah.
of the property. The 6 owners have been working for more than 20 years to try to reassemble this property. It, many years ago, got chopped up, and there were a lot of small homes, mobile homes, and single-wide homes, and small plots of property, and people passed on and left some small pieces to their family, and it's just taken us a long time to put it all together. You did ask a good question earlier. Are there any islands in the property or any pieces left out? The answer is no. This property is almost totally surrounded by existing Troutman city limits in
Okay.
Troutman zoning.
Right, so that, yeah,
And that's one thing we've waited for. We got the last piece of this property a little over a month ago. One piece we've been trying for over 15 years to acquire, so we got that last piece of property over a month ago and decided this was the time to come into Troutman officially.
We're getting 6 people to agree on anything. That's commendable in and of itself. But would it be maybe possible to see the zoning map? You can see it on this map here. Yeah, right. So my only question is the parcel directly behind the current Lowe's that is in white. Yes, this one here. Is that, I mean, because the way that I'm interpreting it, that is still in the county.
That is correct.
That property is still in the county. It's owned by Lowe's. Lowe's acquired that property. Actually, there's 2 white pieces there,
Right,
side by
right.
side. 15 years ago, that was all one piece of property. Troutman acquired that piece of property from an owner who claimed they had a right-of-way through the Lowe's property. And didn't have anything on record, but they did claim there was a right-of-way, so Lowe's made a deal with them. They said, well, we'll just buy your property and do away with that claim. So Lowe's purchased that acre of property. Over the years, I was able to purchase half of that property from Lowe's. And the reason we wanted to purchase it was we have to have a pretty good sized stormwater pond for this development. So we wanted to be able to accomplish a stormwater pond, and we needed that half of that property from Lowe's. And Lowe's was gracious enough to work with us to sell that piece to us. We traded Lowe's some other property near the planogram building on Houston Road. So that's how that property came about. However, Lowe's still owns that piece that you asked about.
That one square
It is
there?
still in Iredell County. Lowe's acquired it 2 or 3 or 4 years after they built the store.
Mhm.
And they've just never come to Troutman and asked for it to be annexed into town. It's very close to the creek, to Weathers Creek.
And it looks like, does it have road access to McAllister Hill Lane?
It does not have access to any street.
Oh,
It
it
is
does
part
not.
of Lowe's property, so Lowe's can just go across their own property to access it. They do have access to it because it's part of their property.
Oh, okay, okay. Still learning how to read these maps, so thank you. Thanks for clearing that up.
If you would, please state your name, just for the people.
My name's Howard Bryan.
Thank you, thank you. That was all I had.
Okay, just one other thing, it has nothing to do with rezoning, but I have attempted several times over the last 8 or 10 years to get the U.S. Post Office to put a blue post office box in the front of the Lowe's parking lot to make it convenient for people to mail a letter. There's 30 or 40,000 vehicles a day that pass Lowe's, directly in front of Lowe's. There's only one place you can mail a letter in Troutman, and that's at the post office. Well, there's a box across the street, and then there's a box at Marion Springs. And that's it, between Statesville and Mooresville. There are no other blue boxes where you can mail a letter. The post office says we don't want to put in any more expensive boxes. And I said, well, have you thought more people might buy stamps if you made it easier to mail a letter? Statesville has 23 boxes. Mooresville has 17. Even Harmony has 2. And I can't believe that we can't get another blue box at Lowe's. But that's not part of the zoning, but I just want to make that.
Wish you could help you there.
Well, and Howard's, previous town manager attempted that. I don't know how hard he attempted, but I was told, post office just showed absolutely no interest. I'll just take that, it's what was said and leave it at that. And perhaps our current town manager and the help of some of our council members here can help in maybe changing that thought process, if that is truly how the post office feels, change their thought process. I mean, even the town of Harmony has 2, and we've got 1, really? That just makes absolutely no sense to me.
Well, the post office truck picks the mail up in downtown Troutman in the afternoons, and it drives down to exit 42 on the way to Morrisville.
Right.
And it seems to me if they pass Lowe's, they at least can stop and pick up mail.
Exactly. I will, I realize again, it's not part of it, but just to say, I hear you. I hear you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone from the general public would like to speak to this matter? Okay, not seeing or hearing of anyone. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And I'm going to ask once more, any comments from staff before I ask for comments from the council?
No, sir.
Okay? Any comments from council before I ask for a motion?
I'd just like to make the point that even when I was on the planning and zoning, years ago, we looked at how they envisioned that would be highway business out there, and we'd see that growth at exit 42. And of course, we had to get through the pain of getting a lot of rooftops so we could start making these other things happen. But I feel good that we're now on the path, and we've got the food line area there. We're looking at now the next property getting to Lowe's, which is kind of what we had envisioned. I think when Layton was our chairman on the planning and zoning, those are the visions, but we had to get through the pain of, that's more houses around. And we took a beating on some of that, but now we're starting to see something that's really good for the community. Starting right here a while back with the Tractor Supply building, and now you're moving that way. So I think things are starting to look up for Troutman.
As I said a while ago, it's more opportunity for more services and products to be sold in this town, keep people from having to drive elsewhere to buy their needs. So and that within itself just tickles
And the
me.
planning board obviously agreed because they were voted unanimously for this project in the zoning.
Eddie,
No, sir.
comments? All right, well, having asked that, we will move on then. We'll have a motion regarding the rezoning of this property. Any question?
I'll make a motion that we consider approval of ordinance 2023, title an ordinance changing the zoning classification of the after described property from Iredell County HB CUD Highway Business Conditional District and Residential Agriculture to Town of Troutman HB Highway Business.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion before I call for the vote? Hearing none, then I will call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion made by Councilman Harris, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is passed. The property is rezoned as requested. We will now move on to our public comments section.
Excuse me, Mr.
We need a motion of
Excuse me?
consistency.
We just need a motion of consistency.
Close the public hearing.
No consistency statement.
Thank you. Afraid I'd forgotten that again, close the public hearing. Thank you, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, we'll forget that.
All right, consistency hearing. May I hear a motion on the consistency hearing of this matter?
I'll make the motion that rezoning the highway business is consistent with the 2035 future land use map and with the current land use pattern of the area. The request is consistent with the currently adopted Unified Development Ordinance. The request is reasonable and in the public interest that it proposes to allow commercial developments in the areas of Troutman where it is appropriate.
All right, we have a motion on the consistency, statement of consistency. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
All right, we have first and a second. Any comments? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the consistency statement as read, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consistency station motion passed. All right. Are we complete with that? Anything else okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to section 6, public comments. Public is invited to address the town council with comments or concerns. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per individual. Speakers are required to sign in at the podium and are required to adhere to the town policy number 51 titled Policy Governing Comments from the Public at Town Meetings. Let's see, for the live streaming folks, go to the link on the home page of the Town of Troutman website, www.troutman.gov. Do we have anyone who would like to address the council from the public? Yes, ma'am. Let me ask you, have you signed in, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Town Council, Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Susan O'Malley, and my husband and I, we own the coffee shop across the street. In addition, we also own the building, and we own the piece of land next to that building. So we try to be very good business partners with the town, follow all the rules. And I'm here to ask the Town Council to reconsider their ordinance on the feather flags. We do Friday Night Live music, and last year we had got a very nice banner sign made up in the aesthetic of our regular sign, and we had that up on the regular land, and then we were told, you can't have banner signs. Then we wanted to put it on the porch. So no, you can't have it on the porch. You can't have a banner sign anywhere. So it really doesn't give us an opportunity to advertise events like that. They said, well, you can have feather flags. Okay, so we got feather flags that says coffee, and recently we've started serving food, so we got one that says breakfast and one that says lunch. And we take that and we change it out. And we don't leave them overnight. When our business is done, we remove them. When lunch is over, they come down. Breakfast is over, it comes down. I don't understand the logic behind saying, well, you have 12 weeks and you can pick it this way or that way or this way or that way. If you need to advertise your business, you need to advertise your business. I can understand if there's other businesses, or even if our business, like maybe 2 feather flags is too much and you want to limit it to 1, I can see that that would be something, or to have a discussion with some of the businesses that are negatively impacted by this. The property that we own, we're not allowed to put any sign on it because it doesn't have a building on it. I mean, I can put up a billboard, an electronic billboard sign on top of the sign that I have, well, I could get a new one where it occupies like a third of the space. I don't like that aesthetic. I mean, we love the old house, we love the aesthetic of the small town. I mean, I'm not crazy about feather flags either, but we need something that the 15,000 cars that pass by our building every day can see and know. And I don't know if anybody was aware that it negatively impacts us when we make decisions like that. So I'd like to ask if you could reconsider, feather flags only during business hours, only 1 feather flag, something to give us another means of advertising what we are. I'd also, for the other piece of property too, because I even said, well, I'll put it on a wood sign. I mean, I don't understand why we can't put a sign on property that we own unless there's some sort of a structure, and then what kind of a structure counts? That's my other question I would like to know. So, all right, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Goldman, and I'm somewhat new to the town of Troutman. I've been here about 2 years, and I have seen it grow considerably in just 2 years. There is one issue that I have that is of considerable concern since the town is growing so quickly, with the fact that we get traffic backed up directly in front of our fire department. And the more houses go in, the more crowded it's going to get, and it's going to be harder and harder for those fire trucks to get out when they need to get out. There is no escape if it is backed up completely in both directions. I do think that something needs to be done, whether it's block that area so that people can't sit in that area, or make an exit out the back for them, something, so that they can get out and get to people who need their help. That's my first thing that I wanted to talk about. The second was the school signs that are in the middle of the road on Wagner. We keep replacing them over and over and over again. I think that if you want to have signs there to bring attention to the crosswalk, that maybe they need to be strung across the top with caution lights or something. People are nervous that they think that they're actual stop signs and are actually stopping at them when there's zero reason to stop at them. And the road is very narrow. A day or two and they're taken out by whatever utility vehicle that tries to turn the corner. The buses can't make the corners with those signs there. I don't know who's paying for them. If that is the town of Troutman, we're wasting our money. It can be spent better by a better way to help that area. The next is, I would like to know, and I guess maybe I might have to come into the office to find out, I'd like to be able to see what the town of Troutman's budget is, where we do spend our tax money. I lived in Huntersville for 13 years, and my taxes were expensive because they were in Mecklenburg County. I moved into the city of Statesville, and taxes went in half. And then whenever I moved into the town of Troutman, it was a few days before my taxes were due on my car, and when I got my car bill, I thought, oh, this is a mistake, because it was more expensive than it was when I was living in Huntersville.
3 minute time.
Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Oh,
We're limited to 3 minutes.
okay. All right. Thank you. I'll be back next month, and I'll be back on Monday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the council? Okay. Just let folks know we normally, this is a hearing session, so this is the reason we don't respond, and by not responding does not mean we're not interested or we're just, up here listening and swinging one ear and out the other. These things we will discuss, and I invite, concerning our town budget, feel free to contact our town manager and or our town finance officer, and they'll be glad to discuss our budget with you. We just came off a budget session where we discussed all that in detail and passed it. In North Carolina, it has to be passed by July 1st each year, fiscal year, and so forth. So feel free to do that. And that situation down at the front of the post office at the corner of West and Wagner, I presume that's where you're talking about.
There's two there and just the next corner as well.
Okay.
On
Yeah.
curve.
Yeah, and that has been something that has come to our attention that we'll discuss further, but again, feel free to, talk with our town manager concerning that as well, if you will. And Susan, I hear your situation, and we'll discuss that with our planning manager, planning director rather, and our town manager as well, so.
I appreciate your time for that, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming and making us aware of your situation, if you will. Thank you. Okay, well, if there's no one else then, at this point in time, I believe we have taken care of all the business on our agenda this evening. At this point, I will ask for any comments from the council before I move on and ask for comments from the staff. Comments from the council this evening.
Well, I'll first mention something since the sound went out on the Monday evening agenda briefing. Maybe I made this known, but I want to let people know that I have driven by my house to see a for sale sign in front of it. Actually, it's actually on a contract at the first day, so it really went well. But I am not leaving Troutman. I'm moving to a new house in the enclave of Falls Cove. It works out good. It gives the downsizing on the size of the yard I'm cutting. As I get older and almost an acre yard is a lot of space. Plus, I have a pool, which I found out was good when the kids are younger, but it can be a bear when you're not getting used a lot, and you still got to work on it and maintain it. So I get rid of that pool and the huge yard. And then my wife had wanted a new house because we lived in one that was like maybe 8 or 10 years old when we transferred to here. When I retired from DuPont and came to Troutman, and she's always wanted to know why I can't get a new house instead of me getting an older one and remodel, which I enjoyed that side of it, working, but her not as well. So now I got a happy wife, a lot less work for me, and it's going to be a good thing. I'm still in town of Troutman, and I have filed for re-election, and I hope to be able to serve another 4 years if I've enjoyed the time I spent on council here, and plus the planning and zoning before that. The other is ABC report was just a great report again of how well it does. It's a business that wasn't supposed to do as good as it did when it kicked off years ago. In 2007, it's just grown and done well, and now you're looking at another business. And congratulations to Emily. You know, for the last years I've been around you since I came on council, and you just do so much for this town, and you're well appreciated as a well-deserved reward.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Again, I'd like to recognize and thank Emily, our town manager, and Chuck Gallion for the great job, and our staff, and our police, and everybody that was involved with our 4th of July parade. Outstanding job, and I think our citizens and our residents enjoyed it. And it was great to see Miss Mary Starks participating, in our Food Line Business Organization of the Year being able to participate. It was great to see all the people come out, and looking forward to all the great things we have planned for the rest of the summer. Thank you.
Yes, likewise. It's been a great summer so far. The events, the Party in the Park and the 4th of July Parade were phenomenal. It was wonderful to take part in that, representing the town, but also seeing the turnout at both of those events was just great to see. It's one of the reasons why we moved here. And so it's good to see that these things are back in full swing. And, you know, it's great. I'm very happy that we recognized Emily Watson as well as the whole staff that contributes to putting on these events. And it's just, they do a great job. We've got another one coming up very soon, right? The 21st. Yeah, another Party in the Park, right? And then what, we got National Night Out not far after that. Yeah, so I mean, that's the thing. It's good time to be here in Troutman. And yeah, thank you for all you do. And yeah, and I look forward to it. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Appreciate all the comments. I won't belabor and repeat them, just except that I say kudos for what's been mentioned. And again, thank you to the staff and to Emily, and appreciate Randy's Gallagher service to the town, and glad that he's still working for us part-time, as long as we can use his services. So, covered everything, and looking forward to the upcoming events that were mentioned, Party in the Park and National Night Out, as well as any others in the future. So I'll turn it over to our town staff, Mr. Town Manager.
At this time, we're going to Adam Lippert from Public Works.
All right. KRG Utility, y'all probably seen them around. They're doing all of our flushing and camera work. They started a little over a month ago with that. They are done with the complete system flushing. They're working on the camera work now, so getting some good data back for that. Then we'll get that list and prioritize it, and be able to get a good idea of where our system is right now. So looking forward to that. Guys are wide open on right-of-way work and mowing. The right-of-ways, we're in compliance, but we are taking them, trying to get them this year up to the standard that me and Duck have been talking about for a while, where we want the right-of-ways, and they're looking really good, so the guys are working really hard on those. And Eddie the Jetter is being put to good use, man. I'm telling you what, it's really come in handy a couple times. So great piece of equipment for us. So that's about all I had that anybody would remotely be interested in.
So the question I've got for you is, did I see a contracted jetter sitting across the street from my house?
That's KRG. That's KRG. They're doing the camera work. So best practice for any camera work is you always flush it out first. So that's part of their program.
Why is our new jetter not sitting there? I was that one.
It'll do the job. Yes, sir.
Okay, for the Parks and Recreation Department, report this month. First, I want to say thank you for the kind words. The manager's right, I don't like the awkward recognition for myself because it's not me. We have a strong leadership team, I have a strong Parks and Rec team, and I appreciate his leadership and support for staff. So thank you all for your kind words. Just some updates on some programs that we have coming up. Our basketball camp next 2 weeks. Next week is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade camp at South Iredell High School. We have 50 people, 50 students registered for that. The following week is 4th, 5th, and 6th grade camp. And following that, we have baseball camp the first week of August. 43 registered for that. And that is led by the South Iredell High School baseball coaching staff. So appreciate the partnerships that we have with South Iredell High School on those 2 camps the next 3 weeks. Pickleball lessons we've been doing since March. Each session that we've had every month, every Saturday, has sold out. So March, April, May, June, and July have all sold out. There's been beginners courses, there's been intermediate courses, and again, they've all sold out. And they're asking now, when are we signing up for August? So that is good feedback for us as we make plans for our next amenities in town, as we make plans for what our next features and next parks look like. So we know that our community recognizes and honors pickleball. So that's important to them. So those are selling out every time we open them up. The 19th of July, the Girl Scout project that you all approved, the pet pantry, is going in for installation. So that is finally coming to fruition the 19th of July. And they'll come and begin installation. When they'll start stocking it and moving forward with that, I don't know. They'll pour the footers, put in the concrete and those kind of things starting on the 19th. And that was a 2-girl project. One of the girls fell off and it ended up just being one of the girls. So kudos to her for continuing to move forward by herself. So I'm hopeful that we can bring her in for recognition once that project is finished and it's complete. We can honor her in that because we've had a lot of people ask about it. It's a pretty cool project. So I'd like to recognize her once it's finished. The 21st, like you said, of July, that'll be our last party in the park. So please come out and attend that if you can, 6 o'clock at the park. August 8th is the South Iredell High School Community Pep Rally. We did that last year. It's just a kickoff for all the fall sports, not just the football team, but recognizing the band and the cheerleaders and fall soccer and volleyball and everyone else too that participates in a fall sport. So come down into the park, meet the coaching staff and the leadership from South Iredell. So we'll host that here at 6 o'clock on the 8th. And then also, the manager may speak about this, but the 7th, we will start renovations on our volleyball courts. That's sponsored by Lowe's Hardware. They're helping us with some renovations of kind of upfitting and cleaning up and doing some restoration on our volleyball courts. So that'll start August 7th, and that'll kind of take probably just that first week there, second week, I guess that is, of August. Not sure exactly how long that project will take, but we appreciate them sponsoring that project and being behind us on that. An update on our Bermuda grass project. We are regretful that we had to close the fields for this summer, the baseball fields and the soccer fields, but it is much needed maintenance and repair. Our fields are looking great. As you know, it's been 9 years since we closed the fields and did some grass restoration and repair, but it's looking great. So put some additional fertilizer on this past week, so it's coming along nicely. So get those open back up again soon once we get it to where we want it. So again, I have a very strong Parks and Rec maintenance team, and I'm very proud of them, and they work very hard, especially in this heat. So if you see them out, tell them we appreciate them. Thank you. That's all I have.
May I ask what you said Lowe's is coming in to help do a little refurbishing over there on the soccer and field. So can you just in a capsulize what?
I would love to, but I would actually defer to the manager on that. He secured this for us, and he can speak to it better than I can. I'm just thankful that he did that. I'll pass it down.
You want to talk about it?
As to the volleyball, beach volleyball area that we have, Emily and I conferred a couple times. For a long time, our parks we're on shoestring budgets and a lot of people eating spaghetti at $5 a plate to get where we were on amenities. So I don't want it to sound like that we're not appreciative of each and every one of those ESC employees. For example, we're doing paycheck withdrawals. We had lots of people do donations of various types. Mooresville High School, for example, donated old turf that we repainted. Emily and volunteers repainted to put out to repurpose it. The largest expense was the sand that went in there, but quite frankly, it was not graded to standards that would make it last a long time. And again, it's just like the majority of our park. We did what we did at the time to get there. Now it's going back and making it something that's going to be sustainable and longevity. I spoke with Joe at Lowe's, COO of Lowe's, Joe the Kid, as we call him. And of course, as everybody knows, Lowe's is anchored here in Iredell County, and they do several projects to where they give back to communities. And he overheard me talking to someone else about our ball fields, and that we were getting sprinkler systems done, and he said, hey, what do you need? And I said, well, once the sprinklers are up, we'll plant grass. And he said, hey, we can get sod from Lowe's. We got these community projects. And when he said that, we had just went through some drain repairs at the soccer field when we had electricity cut to what we hope to be the future concession stand. And I said, actually, with you all having access to your community programs, what about redoing the beach volleyball area? And he said, sure. And he called another staff member and said, hey, they need some turf up there, so just do all the ball fields, the whole park, everything. and once the guy said, wait a minute, that's 30 acres. You want us to go and do turf all that? I said, no, we just need the beach volleyball area done. So Lowe's reached out to their various vendors, and it's going to be like a 6-part project to where the various vendors, the turf folks, the sand folks, and others come together, and it will be featured nationally as to these various vendors as to their part of making communities better along with Lowe's. There's going to be cameras out there and a lot of photos taken, anywhere from 15 to 30 people at a time doing various projects. And again, I don't want to slight what got us there, but at the same token, we're very thankful that Lowe's and its partners decided to make Troutman one of its projects. And Joe is a super guy about giving back, especially to veterans, but the community in which they do business. Our part of it is we're getting a dumpster so that old things can be put in it, and then I'm sure we will be asked to shovel things for as we're moving around. But it's not just as simple as go put sand down in a hole. There has to be bladders in there. The whole thing has to be graded for appropriate drainage, and then the bladders have to be a certain thickness to keep grasses and things from growing in it in the future. Then they have to have some underlayment where the artificial turf will go. So we're tickled to have the professionals that want to feature it as a project.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'll keep it short and sweet for the finance department. The passport office is going strong. We hope to be in the new permanent location, I'd say fairly soon. So they've been learning and doing a great job with that. We actually have one of our ladies who helped with the passport office, Jessica, is here tonight. As she didn't have enough duties already, she's shadowing Kim to be a backup for clerk duties. So her and Susan both, I think they've been here a little over 3 months, and they've been doing a great job with learning the front as well as learning all the things involved with passports, because I don't know anything about passports, and I kind of told Tanya, I said, this is going to be your thing and we're going to be over this, so don't come asking me about it because I don't know about passports, but they do a great job, and I'm thankful for a good staff. So we're working on closing out fiscal year 23 so we can get all of our reports to our auditors. They've sent us a list of about 120 items they need, so we're working on that. So it's all hands on deck with that. So everybody in the front office helps me as well. So we sort of go through the list and try to divide and conquer that. So that'll be time consuming this next month or so, but that's okay. That's part of the job. And ma'am, thank you for your comments tonight. I would like to point out our budgets and our audits are posted on town's website. So if you'll go there, it'll be under the government tab, I believe. And if you have any trouble finding that, just call me and I'll help walk you through that. So we want to be as transparent as possible. And that's it for finance.
Planning and zoning, we're still busy issuing a lot of permits for new construction of new homes in town. That's something that's keeping us pretty busy. We did receive some new plans in the last week. The plans came in for the Tractor Supply, which means we're reviewing those and they're starting their permitting process. We also got the plans in for the Houston Road Industrial Park that you all approved about a year ago. I think it was about this time last year. So we are busy trying to get those approved and hopefully get their permits so they can start construction there. We also have a rezoning case that we're working through, a conditional zoning for the Sterling property that's off of Autumn Leaf Road. MI Homes is wanting to build a subdivision, about 91 homes there. We had the community meeting last night that was very well attended. That will go to Planning and Zoning on the 24th of July and then Town Council on the 8th. It's been a little bit slower year with conditional zonings this year. I think this might be one of the first ones that we've actually processed that hasn't been just a standard rezoning with an annexation. We continue to work on the UDO rewrite. We're working our way through that ordinance. I'm hoping that by early fall I'll have some of those chapters to bring to you all so we can start reviewing that and hopefully getting that approved. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of information that I'm working through that. Andrew continues to work with our consultant on the mobility plan. That's going well. And we hope to have that, in a draft format that we can present to you all possibly by the end of the year. So, thank you.
With it being the year halfway over, I wanted to just give a snapshot of where we're at in the police department. When we compare January to June of 2022 and January to June of 2023, our calls for service have increased 46% from last year to this year. Some of the numbers breaking down, we've responded to 75% more domestic disputes. Assaults have had a 3% increase. We've had a 66% increase in traffic crashes, but that's not just on the roads, main roads, side roads. That's parking lot crashes are a big part of those as well. Arrests have had a 37% increase for all offenses. And good news, we've had a 75% decrease this year in reported sex offenses and a 45% decrease in fraud. The officers have made their proactivity level, like making traffic stops, getting out with suspicious people, have led to us having an 89% increase in narcotic offenses and a 137% increase in DWI arrests. And that's not that Troutman all of a sudden got flooded with a bunch of drunks with drugs in their car. It's just where the officers are stopping more cars and being so much more proactive that they're coming across more things. So we have a really, really good group of officers right now. They're very hardworking, dedicated guys and girls that I'm really, really proud of. Next month on Tuesday, August 1st, we have National Night Out down here in the park that we'll be hosting. So I want everybody to come out to that and meet the officers. We'll have other agencies that surround us come, fire and EMS and various vendors to try and, market out the services they offer and, things for kids to do, fun things like that, and we'll be giving out free food. So that's all I have. Unless anybody has any questions?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and council, and of course, each one of these department directors, as you heard, have been very busy within their own lines. But once again, even though you all said it, I'd like to thank all employees for making the Troutman Parade a success. Just for the viewing audience, I just want to say one more time for the record, it is not normal that town staffs do these type of events. Most municipalities have volunteer groups and/or a designated sub-agency that is not city or town or municipal employees that actually put events on in towns. So for the town of Troutman to think as much of Independence Day that council years ago decided it's something they wanted to showcase, and over the years it went away from volunteer organizations to become a responsibility of staff. I'm thankful that we're able to do it, but at the same token, it's one of those things that is not normal. Not saying we want to give it up, I'm just saying it's not normal, and I am thankful that when most people begin their vacation, our staff pulls an extra day to make sure everybody has a good time. A couple things to add to what was already said here. Justin talked about our passport office, and a lot of the directors, by the way, in doing quality reports, leave me little to say, so I'm having to pick a little bit of what they add. But the passport office, some of the citizens without there just today heard, well, I didn't know you all had one. On purpose, when we got staff, and you have to meet the federal government's requirement on how you do passports, there has to be specific training. There's time required that goes into that. Then you have to showcase for a certain period of time and a certain quantity of passports that you actually are issuing them to their standards and expectations. Because we have a shortage of staff area or room for staff, we really did not, even though initially we had talked about trying to make room here, as you all have heard and the citizens have heard me say, we have no room to do our normal job. So why would we dare add that? Because of plans that were made years ago and what the downtown area hopes to look like, we began accruing properties as a way of how do we realize the plans that were made, instead of asking, as one of you all brought it up, Councilman Oxer, I believe, to get 6 people to agree on a project with 42 lots is quite impressive. If we do the downtown plan that was voted on by a lot of community members and the elected body, we would be asking 80-some property owners to go and spend their money the way we tell them to, when we tell them to. So one of the ways around that, as the town has slowly and incrementally been acquiring those properties and using them as rental properties to get them paid for by users, what used to be until yesterday the nationwide office location in Troutman, we had nothing to do with them and their business model deciding to go to Statesville as a person up there retired, but that property became available. That being said, we thought we wanted to do passports as a community service for our citizens, and also a way, what do we do with that building if we acquire it? That's part of that plan, master plan that was adopted again by community volunteers and staff and elected officials years ago. Just since May, on a part-time basis only, just on the website for passports, people that are actively looking for them, the town has already profited over $10,000. And that in itself is real money to show you all, as I suggested, and to the public, that once we're able to have full-time staff there and do walk-ins and able to advertise this is the location that passports will be done, we feel like those numbers will increase. But even if they stay where they are, that would certainly pay for that office and part of the salaries of a couple of our staff members will be sharing those duties. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you all have any on the passports before I move to the next topic. timeline-wise, we technically could open the office tomorrow. The office was already zoned for an office, so there's nothing extra required there. However, we're waiting on some signage to be done so people can clearly see that it's a Town of Troutman passport office and not partially nationwide and other things. So once that's completed, we hope to do the official grand opening of the passport office. The second thing I would like to talk about, and I appreciate also the comments about the school traffic signs. And it has come to my attention, this is a discussion of a lot of people, good and bad, as to whether those traffic signs belong there. The one thing that I would like to say is look how many signs have been knocked down knowing the sign is there. Just imagine if it was one child, and what is it really worth, the value of how many signs we put up if it protects a child. That speed limit area right through there is 25 miles an hour, getting ready to drop to 20. So if somebody does stop, thinking that they need to stop, that just further ensures pedestrian traffic, especially in the school hours, would have a safer way. We have, just so you know, and others listening, looked at several other options, and we have been in the process of trying to decide if there's another way, flashing lights on the side, which would require the property owners to give us an additional easement of their property to do that. But then you've got issues with trees and line of sight. Would it be there? So we are and have been for about 6 months trying to come up with another solution there. But one thing that we have done that people don't realize is we had a huge truck come through and make the turns. They can do it safely. So for people that's not doing it, it simply means they are driving careless and not entering those intersections the way they're supposed to legally. People that's running over the signs are doing it because they're not paying attention, not because the turns can't be made. From the time we initially put those signs up, every time one gets knocked down, we have been moving them back more and more and more.
I noticed that.
So it's one of those things, we have been cognizant that they keep getting tore up, but then again, the question keeps coming back to us. What is the value of not marking it? And the cars that have hit children there previously, thank goodness there was just no serious injuries. At what point is that our responsibility? So we are working on it. The other thing I would like to say is some of you too most likely will get some emails from the auditing firm to answer questions about what you think or suspect, if anything, and I appreciate this company doing so. Several of us got multiple questionnaires, and that just goes to show that they're doing their responsibility great. That's all I have, unless you all have any particular questions.
Get the night off?
Well, we discussed the fact candidly that if HR talks too much, they get into talking to things about that shouldn't be talked about in public.
I second.
Sorry, Lou.
No, it's all good. Most of my stuff is behind the scenes, so unless there's something big, I'm not going to really have much really usual to say.
Kind of like an attorney, you don't want them to talk unless you need them.
And I guess you could add
That's why we're
that,
sitting together.
I guess you could add that Lou's gonna be moving to the Nationwide building
Yeah,
down
we're
the
getting him
road.
out of here.
He's gonna be, his office will be there at HR.
Yes, thank you for that.
So he gets a new office.
It's not quite as nice as the one he has, but he will have.
Yeah, I have seen that area where you're going. It's gonna take a lot of work.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Is that it, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thank you very much, and again, thank you to the staff for the great work they do for the town and the responsiveness to the town's needs and to its citizens. And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All right, have a first and a second to adjourn the meeting. Any comments? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in adjournment.